She said, "My sweet, petite, punk-ass chica from the great white north, older than me in years, younger in body, sharper in both mind and wit," she said, giving me that look like she's going all Marie Kondo through the closets and drawers of my mind. She said, "So what's with you and halter tops?" I stopped and pretended to gaze out across the park, this new park, Francisco Park, while I quickly dug through what remained in my closets and drawers, fretting over what potential thoughts, emotions, attitudes might not have brought her joy, might have ended up in the torn Trader Joe's bag sitting out on the curb, but tickled to discover the sick fucking thoughts deemed appropriate to keep around those that had indeed brought her joy. I said, waving my arms slowly across the wonderful visual before us as if I were Yertle the fucking turtle, I said, "Oh, sugar, now, it ain't just a halter top, but I do admit to a certain bias toward its simplicity in both form and function, an awe-inspiring testament to a simple piece of cloth generating such jealousy on my part. But it's also the tube top, especially those of the overstretched variety that give way to gravity, and the skimpy tank top cut off above the navel, and the little brother's Catholic school white button-up with the only one button attached and the shirt tails tied up into a cute knot above the belly button. It's the ill-fitting, elastic-gone, cheap sports bra causing mothers to tisk-tisk while smacking their kids and warning them to never dress that way. Each and all matched with their hip huggers, leaving those cute little muffin top bellies jiggling and giggling at or with me, I don't know. Sometimes converted into some of those hot pants, giving us the quiver and the quake from the ground all the way to the sky, constantly driving me to sing that little jingle from that TV commercial in the 70s. Who loves short shorts? We love short shorts. All cousins from the 70s with what I hope is a little 70s bush hidden below. I mean, sugar, feast your eyes upon the verdant green around and about us. The city fathers and uncles have bequeathed us with the Dolo Beach of the North Front. There's a little something for everyone. We gazed out on the hot, well-bred bodies on not towels, but on high-tech sports basement mats. These hot bodies had tacked to the turf, 10, 20, maybe 50 of them spread across the neatly mowed meadow with a view of Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge. And upon a little cordoned-off dog park where precious people popped off about pedigrees and purebreds. And upon a community garden reeking of the rich loam and sparkling, glittering, twinkling droplets of freshly sprayed water, non-potable gray, of course, a community garden whose community will garden for sport and bragging rights, not necessarily for sustenance. I said, looking down at a sign hanging on the rail about the middle of the elevated walkway that read, "Elevated Walkway," with all the dignity due such a statement. I said, I mean, if Mr. Alsop and his oh-so-generous neighbors went to the trouble of raising $25 million, not counting the amount they spent doing the chat with very important people, and their time, oh my, their time, these fine citizens, their time is very dear. They have many interests, varied and diverse, hither and thither, that beg for their collective and individual attention. So if Mr. Alsop et al. Thought it worth their time and generosity, thought it a sound contribution to our overall social good, never mind the thought that there was already another massive park just a couple of blocks or so north of here, a group of parks that the city doesn't even have to fund, that the federal goddamn government is paying for, that has several beaches, lots of green space, trails that run from Hyde Street to the gate, along with a set of soccer fields on the Marina Green for the kiddies, that has a goddamn view of the bridge, Sausalito, and Angels Island, for fuck's sake. No, never mind the thought that had that land been used for, let's say, housing, maybe even moderate or, oh my, low-cost housing, maybe 100 or so units, hell, maybe 1,000. It's a nice big chunk of land. I'm sure that Mr. Alsop et al., fine citizens that they are, had ne'er thought about people they may not know moving into these units, moving up the hill, ne'er thought about buildings possibly rising up, possibly impairing those breathtaking views of Oz and beyond. I'm sure there was never a discussion, alarmed or otherwise, dancing around finances, property values, or that elusively defined neighborhood integrity. I mean, hey, so what if what they've created, what we, the great city of San Francisco, along with the generosity of Mr. Alsop et al., have created together, is a new sort of Central Park South with a row of buildings. Within some, Mr. Alsop and his fellow social justice warriors might live now. A row of buildings now towering above, looking down upon this beautiful new park used by the beautiful, with never a chance for anything to come between them, their properties, and their oh-so-precious views, the value of which will probably not, most likely not, maybe not, will hardly at all increase, and hey, even if it did, so what? It's trivial, it's accidental, it's, hey, the park. This beautiful new park used by everyone. Well, almost everyone, probably not those being forced to leave the city because it has become so goddamn unaffordable. Those that might have benefited from new housing, lots of new housing in an old neighborhood, not new housing arising from a Victorian cut up into $1 million studios, but real family housing, families with kids, maybe families with grandparents like me. But if Mr. Alsop and his oh-so-knowing crowd, with their infinite wisdom, find that the betterment of San Francisco has been poured generously into this fine specimen of a park, a world-class park, something that we as San Franciscans can cherish and show off to the world as we follow our friends, the Joneses of New York, with their High Line. We're just as good as New York, just smaller, right? If Mr. Alsop and his Spartans of civic duty deem this a proper and necessary conveyance that will bring to my eye sweet views of the Golden Gate Bridge and halter tops atop hot pants, then by God Almighty and the manifest destiny he has granted us, I say to heck with housing. Let me cruise this fine new elevated walkway above all them turtles, smoking my fatty, enjoying the views and all that.